everybody, welcome back to another Tuesday and Thursday session of Animal Adventures with Jordan, and today we're going to feature our Red Kangaroos. At Animal Adventure Park we currently have actually 4 Red Kangaroos. We have 1 male, 2 females, and a baby in the pouch, which we're going to be able to show you here in a little bit. Now before we get too much into the anatomy of kangaroos, we'll talk about their background. Now kangaroos are of course a marsupial, and a marsupial is any of those animals that have a pouch that helps them carry and rear their young. In addition to that, classification, they're also known as macropods. Now, macropod more or less means elongated foot. And of course, when looking at our different kangaroos, you can see just how large their long feet are, which we're going to talk about here in a few minutes. Now, the red kangaroo obviously inhabits Australia. And in Australia, they're actually the largest species of the kangaroos. Now, many people don't understand that kangaroos come in all different colors, shapes, and sizes. Some of our kangaroos are tall, like our red kangaroos, reaching up to 6 feet in height. Others are very, very small, and also a member of that wallaby or macropod family. And also we have tree kangaroos, which are again of that family and actually live up in the trees and look much different than the kangaroos we have here on exhibit. Now going back to our sizes, our male red kangaroos are the only ones that actually take on that orange, red, or copper coloring. Our males, like I said, can obtain a height of about 6 feet tall and can weigh anywhere up to 120 to even up to 180 pounds. Now the neat thing about a male kangaroo is that when they are fully grown, they become quite muscular. They actually develop pectoral muscles, biceps, triceps, quads, and so forth, and it really puts on quite a show. It looks like they've been in the gym for quite some time. Now that being said, with that much muscle mass, they are full of power, and we actually have to be very careful around a motivated male. A male can certainly deliver a kick or an attack on a human being that could be quite disastrous if it went the wrong way. Now our female kangaroos, we'll have them hop this way here in a second. There we go. Now our girls, you're going to see, are much, much smaller. You'll notice the female kangaroos are actually gray in their coloring, and the reason they stay gray is because of those babies that they have in their pouches. The babies, obviously, when they're fully furred, are actually gray in coloring, and they want those little joeys to blend in with mom so that they're not singled out by predators. Now our female kangaroos, they've achieved maybe a height of about 4 to 5 feet, and they only weigh about 80 to 100 pounds. They might go a little over 100 pounds, but that's one big female. Now going on from there, you'll notice the physical traits of our kangaroos. First thing we're going to talk about are those feet. Those big elongated feet are very powerful, and they allow them obviously to jump and hop around. Now a kangaroo, when jumping, can actually jump up to 6 some odd feet vertically, and they can achieve anywhere from 20 to 30 feet in one long hop. That's covering a lot of ground very quickly. Now in addition to those feet helping them move around, they're actually their defense. Many people think kangaroos box. Well, certainly their arms are involved in that process, but the power and the defense is in those feet. At the end of each foot, you can see a big long black toe, and on the end of that is a big long black toenail, much like a velociraptor in essence. And when a kangaroo is upset or they're showing off to their girls, what they'll do is they'll engage each other in this fighting behavior. And males will actually stand up on their tails, bring up those front feet, and kick their opponent right in the chest. And again, it's a very powerful kick. However, kangaroos are equipped with an extra muscular pad here that actually absorbs that blow. So it's not very serious for them to take a kick. However, you or I would be in serious trouble if a full-grown male kangaroo gave us a good solid one right in the stomach. Now moving on from there, we're going to talk about that tail. Now that big long tail actually serves as like an extra leg. If we look over here at Boomer, you can see how it's always on the ground. It's actually as long as the foot, that section that lays on the ground. Now the neat thing about that tail and what gives it that power is their vertebrae. It actually goes down their neck, all the way down their back, down to the tip of their tail. Now that tailbone, that vertebrae that goes all the way down there, is also enclosed in that muscle. That allows them to actually stand up on that tail, pick those feet off the ground, and bounce a little bit just like Tigger from Winnie the Pooh. Now in addition to being an extra foot to help them balance so they can engage in their kicking and boxing behavior, it also is a guide or a rudder for them to keep their balance when they're hopping very quickly away from predators or just moseying through the Australian outbacks and grasslands. Now another neat thing about them is their arms. If you look at Boomer's arms over here, he's got these little arms. And of course, what dinosaur had little arms? Somebody in the crowd tell me. T-Rex. And what were his arms good for? Nothing. Thank you. All right. Now in the kangaroo world, those arms are actually good for a number of different things. The first thing is obviously scratching all around and grooming one another. They can reach just about every spot with those arms. But the next neat thing is actually to help them cool down. There is major blood flow that goes through each of those very thin, long arms. And if we look over here at Boomer right now, we just missed it. There we are. He's licking his arms a little bit. When kangaroos get hot on a hot day like this, what they actually do is they salivate at the mouth, they lick those forearms, wetting that fur, wetting the skin, and what happens is as that blood passes through there, it actually cools down the blood, which then goes back through the body and cools down the entire body. Now the other thing about these arms, they're used to communicate. When a kangaroo meets a new kangaroo, the first thing they do is give each other the kangaroo high five. After that kangaroo high five, you can see a little bit of a kangaroo slap going on there. And at the end of that kangaroo slap comes a big kangaroo hug. But it's not a good hug, because once they hug each other, that's when they stand up on that tail and kick each other in the guts. Yes. So now, let's talk baby talk. Now we have one female, if we can just zoom in a little bit there, you can see she has a very large pouch. Now this is our female, I believe this one here is Chastity, I believe, that is carrying a young Joey. Now that Joey, we're gonna have Lucas just turn her around a little bit. Very good. Nice. Okay, freeze, guys. You can see that foot sticking out of that pouch. Now that Joey in there is about probably 7 months old. Now we're gonna let her be and see if that head pops back out. Now turn back to me and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about this birthing process because it's very unique and unlike any other animals in the world. When a kangaroo is born, crowd, show me with your hands. How big is a baby kangaroo? Show me, show me, show me, show me, show me. Good guesses. Good, good, good. Hands down. Thumbs up. Look at your thumbnail. That's the size of a baby kangaroo, your Joey. Mom gives birth after a gestation of only about 28 to 32 days. After she gives birth, that baby crawls up her inner thigh, up that pouch, into that pouch, and actually finds the nursing point, the nipple. And that baby and mom actually become connected once again. A skin membrane actually develops connecting them. And that baby's job for the next 3 months is to simply drink and to grow. Now after about 3 months, the baby is about the size of your fist. They start to develop a little bit of a peach fuzz on them. That skin membrane deteriorates and allows the baby to come on and off that nipple or that nursing point. At about 4 months of age, we get about 2 fists. 5 months, 3 fists. 6 months is when you start to see your kangaroo sticking its head out of the pouch and mom hopping around like they do in the cartoons. 7 months is like the baby we have here. Now that's when our babies start to actually leave mom's pouch and spend a good portion of the day out of the pouch, but always going back to mom for safety, security, and obviously for their food. They are just starting to nibble their solids, the grasses around them. Once we hit 8 months, 9 months, the baby's spending about 50% of the time in and out of the pouch. 10, 11 months, they're spending about 70 some odd percent of the time out of the pouch. Then we get to 1 year old, 12 months. And what does mom give a baby kangaroo for its first birthday? The boot. She kicks him out. All right, it's time to grow up. Now that kangaroo baby doesn't go far, it stays with the family. What do we call a family of kangaroos? What's a group of kangaroos called? Not a herd, not a grouping. Not a family. Not a pod. Not a tribe. Not a flock, not a school. They're Italian. It's the mob. All right, so the mob of kangaroos, that's your family unit. Now the neat thing is that baby stays in that family unit and mom can conceive within 7 days. 7 days later, she's pregnant once again. 30 days later, she has that other baby and she's back to being a mom once again. So they spend very little time with a baby without being pregnant. Let's just put it that way. So now to introduce the kangaroos that we have here, this big guy behind me, his name is Boomer, and Boomer is our male red kangaroo. He's our breeder, and he's actually been with the park here since its beginning. Boomer's been with us for 5 seasons. We're in our 5th season right now. You can show off a little bit right now that licking behavior. He's licking his arms to help him cool down because we have him just a little bit more active than he would normally be on a hot afternoon. Behind me are females. To the left we have Violet, who's one of our newer females, and on the right we have Chastity. Now Chastity again is that one with that baby in the pouch who's about that 7-month mark, and our little baby in the pouch is in fact a male. So we have a little boy in our grouping here. Now what does that mean? Well, obviously our young male can't stay with our mob here because then he'd be around his mother and we can't have incestuous relations. It undermines our whole effort here to diversify genetics and continue sustainable populations in captive management programs. So he will move on to another facility, find new girlfriends, and start his own mob. All right. So on that note, guys, thank you for tuning in for another Tuesday, Thursday session of Animal Adventures. We'll see you again on Thursday at noon. Who knows what we'll be covering, but certainly it'll be wild.